Shalom uvracha to everyone. Today is Thursday, Ta'anit Esther, Erev Parshat Tetzaveh, February 25th. I hope everyone is well. I hope that everyone is having a meaningful and easy fast. And as we're all gearing up for Purim tonight in our various locations, I want to wish everybody well and a safe Purim in terms of every aspect of Purim. It should be a joyful Purim. You should be able to have it together, but safely for those who are vaccinated already and able to share a little bit more and able to go out a little bit more. That's great. And for those who are not able to go out yet, we're going to have hopefully Zoom opportunities if we can work out the logistics and details, and we're also going to try to make sure that we have a community-wide experience. I want to thank all those who put together the Mishloach Manot, the community Mishloach Manot, and thank everybody who's donated to Matanot Le'Evyonim, and thank everybody who's going to be laning the Megillah this evening and tomorrow, and are able to help us in these very challenging times to create some Simchat Purim. At the same time, everyone should continue to be very careful, masked and socially distanced, and just be careful, and especially Purim, which has its own challenges of drinking. The mitzvah is not to get dead drunk, and the mitzvah is certainly, there's no mitzvah to drink and then do something dangerous or hurtful. God forbid that anyone should get into a car after they've drunk at all in any serious way. That's really, really dangerous, and something that every year we have that challenge. And so especially this year, people should really be really careful. So it's interesting, the conjunction of Parshat Tetzaveh and Purim has certain points of contact which are very, very significant. One of the major theme in Parshat Tetzaveh is, of course, the anointment of the Kohanim, the appointment of the Kohanim to serve in the Mishkan, and especially the Bigdei Kahuna, the vestments, the clothing that they wear, which, so to speak, gives them the ability to serve in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle, and in the temple. And that's the language that the Chazal use, that Bizman shebigdehem aleihem kunatan aleihem, that when the bigadim, when the clothing are upon them, then they have the right to play the role in the Beit HaMikdash. The clothing, which the Torah says over and over again, are lechavod v'letiferet, for the glory and for the grandeur of the role that they're playing, is something that the Kohanim take upon themselves. It's interesting. There are, so to speak, two roles in Tanakh that are hereditary: the Melucha, the monarchy, and the Kahuna, the priesthood, as opposed to the Nevi'im, the prophets. The prophets are fundamentally charismatic individuals by the dint of their personality, the uniqueness of their personality, and they are unique, special individuals. There's no hereditary. You can't be that if your father was a prophet, you're going to be a prophet. Maybe yes, maybe no, but it's not automatic. Kahuna and Melucha, the role of Kohen and the role of Melech, of course it's wonderful if you can have charismatic individuals who are very amazing in their ability to lead and hopefully wonderful people. But you don't always have the best speakers, the most charismatic, the most creative thinkers, etc. But you need institutions that have stability, that will go on. In a democracy, we have elections that make sure that we have that stability. But in a monarchy and in the Kahuna, if people are basically good, even if they're not great, it's stepping into the role and wearing the clothing and getting into the responsibility, in a certain sense, makes them become Kohanim, makes them become Melachim, makes them become that person and that role. And that's a very important thing in life. And it's interesting, in the Megillah also, clothing makes a very significant, plays a very significant role. Mordechai is not, what clothing does he wear when he comes to the gate? He can't come bilavush sak. He can't come with torn clothing, because that's not what you do when you come before the king. On the other hand, when he's mourning, he does wear lavush sak. On the other hand, when he is chosen by Achashverosh, because of the gratitude that Achashverosh wants to show, he changes his clothes and he wears bigdei malchut. And that's part and parcel of the role. And the different stages in the Megillah have to do with the clothing. Esther wears Vatilbash Esther Malchut, and then she goes in, she wears the royal clothing, and then she goes in to see the king. Taking upon the role, which is represented by the clothing, means that you step up to the plate, even if you're not sure that you're ready, even if you're not perfect for the job. But the role makes you, forces you to dig deep into the wellsprings of your personality, and hopefully you play the role, you do the job, and you accomplish great things. This week I was just reading in the New York Times a wonderful story. You know that, of course, a few weeks ago, Alex Trebek, Alav Shalom, the longtime host of Jeopardy that so many of us, as we were growing up and even in our adulthood, and watched and watch and get pleasure from. So Alex Trebek lost his fight with cancer, and he passed away. And his family, one of the things that Alex Trebek, it said in the article, that they would film the show twice a week, and they would have 5 shows in a row. But he would put on a different suit for every show to make it seem like it wasn't the same day, because they appeared on different days of the week, and they were always like 2 or 3 weeks ahead. And he had dozens and dozens of suits in his wardrobe in the studio, and he had dozens and dozens of shirts and ties and shoes and trousers, etc. And his family decided that they would donate all that clothing, all these beautiful suits and ties and shirts, to the Doe Fund. The Doe Fund, many of us know, if you've ever walked around Manhattan and other places in the city, you see those people who are ex-convicts, people who are incarcerated, who are trying to start again a new chapter in their life to be productive citizens. And the Doe Fund helps them with work, helps them train them, job training, and helps them to get interviews for new jobs. And to get a suit and be able to wear a suit for a job interview can transform the self-esteem and self-image of a person who's made mistakes in life and now is getting a second chance to be rehabilitated and come back into society. And they interviewed some of the people, and they talk about how the feeling of putting on a suit for the first time and going to an interview makes them feel that they can play that role, makes them feel that they can reach a potential that they didn't know possible. And so as we enter Purim, we're of course still wearing our masks and our costumes, but the clothing that we wear is a kind of symbol of the fact that we can achieve roles that sometimes seem far from us, responsibilities, goals. We can step into them. We don't necessarily have to be the most charismatic and the most creative, but sometimes we're put in situations where we step up to the plate and we do what we have to do as parents, as educators, as workers, as people in the community. We are going to do that. Yeah, okay, so I'm not a super creative person, but I can sit on a committee for the shul. I can be involved in a program for the shul. I can get myself, I so to speak, put on those clothes, and then I play the role, and I do what I need to do, and I achieve what I need to achieve and I contribute what I can contribute. And that's also part of the story of Tetzaveh and part of the story of Purim, about wearing those clothing. Bisman she bigdehem aleihem, of taking responsibility and stepping in and stepping up to the plate, which is, of course, one of the major stories of one of the major themes of the Megillah. Im la'et kazot tigat malchut umi odea. Mordechai says, this is why you achieved. You were put into this place. We were put into this place in time and history. We're not perfect. We're not necessarily the most gifted, but we can do as much as we can do, and we can achieve as much as we can achieve, and we can contribute as much as we can contribute. Shabbat Shalom, Purim Sameach, the complicated Friday of trying to have a Seudat Purim, and at the same time prepare for Shabbat and do Mishloach Manot and everything. I wish everybody tremendous joy, and it shouldn't get too hectic today, and please be safe. Shabbat Shalom and Purim Sameach.